Hello, everybody. It's Halloween. It is Beyond BMR, your host. Joining me in Studio B, my partner from Texas, Tex, and the lovely Brandi. Blondes and Booze Paranormal Podcast. Go check her and Krista out and subscribe. Little different show. It's the special Halloween show. As you guys know, this show talks about Bigfoot, Dogman, aliens, time travel, all that stuff. How does it all come full circle? So tonight's a little different. We got some stories for you. We got a couple special guests that might be joining us later in the show. I do want to thank everybody. There's about 15, 30 shows going on right now. So if you decided to come on here, I appreciate that. And so does the rest of the team over here. You can find us on iHeartRadio, Spreaker Radio, KPNL Radio, wherever podcasts are found. Please subscribe to Texas Front Porch on YouTube, Bigfoot, Michigan Rob on YouTube, the Blondes and Booze Paranormal Podcast on YouTube. If you want to help support what we do around here, the Super Chat's open. It's a great way to help us on out. That is appreciated. And of course, as you guys know, throughout the week, we've got plenty of shows going on for you. On Mondays, it is Texas Front Porch. Tex comes on at Monday, and I think there's going to be a new time associated with that. I'll ask Tex. It's normally at 9 in the East. I think they're going back an hour. Tex can confirm that. Beyond BMR, 9 o'clock in the East on Tuesdays. Wednesday, Texas Front Porch, 9 in the East, Diva Dimension. Thursdays, Brunch with Bigfoot, Michigan Rob comes on at 1 o'clock in the East. Later on that night, the Blondes, the Booze, the Paranormal Podcast are on at 9 in the East on Thursday. And if you need more woo with the booze, you got them on Friday, 9 o'clock in the East. And don't forget Texas Front Porch on Saturday at 3 o'clock. Tex and Miss Diva, True Crime, Infamous Minds. So subscribe, support us, give thumbs up, leave comments, tell a friend, tell a neighbor. We appreciate you. With that being said, I'm going to get right into it because I'm all geeked about this tonight. I'm going to bring up Tex and Brandi. Hello, everybody. Hello, gang.
Hello.
Howdy, howdy, howdy. I want to say I love this freaking person's name. I don't know who you are normally, but you're a member, and I want to thank you on Rob's behalf for that. Davy Crotchkick.
Yes.
Yes.
Davy, that is a great name. And Davy had gifted 5 or 6 memberships the other night, which
Wow.
I probably thanked you, Davy, but thanks again. I do appreciate that because, I started this join the BMR, become a BMR pirate. You want to be a BMR pirate, and you want to get a bandana next to your name for the low price of $2.99, go for it. I just thought it'd be something fun to do. Thanks, Davey Crotchkick, for that. So, before we get into it, I'm going to ask each individually. Tex, passed out candy today? How's it going? Are these kids sweating in their costumes in Texas?
No, it's pretty cool down here. We're looking at our first freeze tonight. It's supposed to go down to like 31. So it's in the 50s and or 40s right now. It's nice. Thank you, Maggie.
Thank you, Maggie.
Thank you, Maggie.
So yeah, we've been passing out candy, and I've got my 5-year-old grandson. Hey, Mike, hey, awesome.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank
All
you.
Right. Thank you to Maggie for the start with the super chat and a new member, Mike A. What a great Halloween. Thank you for putting that in my candy basket, you guys. I really like that.
Right. All we can say for Mike is arg.
And here it was. Rob was like, man, if there's so many shows going on, if we get 20 people, we'll be lucky. We're already over 30.
Yeah.
You know what? We love y'all too. We love y'all too.
Yeah, we love you guys for coming in. Thanks so much. It's competitive, and I get it, and that's okay because we're just here to kick it and have fun with the people that come in. And Halloween, I love Halloween. I had, I'll go to you next, Brandi, but since we're on the Halloween subject, I had about, for the first time in a while, amazing, and it's snowing where I live. It's snowflakes are coming down. It's cold.
Wow.
Yeah, and the kids are out full glory. I went through I passed out like 100 pieces of candy. But I give them handfuls because I don't like giving one. Because I like to be the cool guy. So
Right.
so yeah, so I did go through my couple bags earlier, but I just shut it down right before about 8:30 my time. And the kids just boom, they're gone. They as fast as they hit the streets, that's as fast as they evaporated, you know.
Yeah, you turn
It,
that light off, they're gone.
yeah, they're gone. They are gone. And I do have a dark street. There's one headlamp or street lamp, and it burnt out 6 years ago, and they never replaced the bulb. I live in the South End. What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, that's true.
and over in Missouri, as I like to call it, Brandi, you live in like a kind of a rural area. Is it kind of tough to get trick or treaters? Do you even get
I
any?
don't get any. I haven't got one since I've lived here, and it's been since 2009. No, no, we don't get one. Not one. Except for like my friends had kids that were young enough, and she was kind enough to bring them all the way out here just so they could trick or treat at my house. So, they got a lot of good stuff at my house. They really didn't even need to go trick or treating. They were already full.
Well, that was awesome of them.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, that was.
So, I mean, it was just like really just nice. I mean, just one time. One time I got kids.
Yeah, I tell you what though, we went through like a spell where a couple of years. I've lived in the same house now for the last 15, 20 years. And,
Mhm.
you know, there was about a 2 or 3 year spell, you guys, where I got maybe 5 kids. And then I'm like, well, I'm not going to bother anymore with it. So the year that I decided not to buy no candy and be the Scrooge for Halloween, right? All of a
Mhm.
sudden, boom, the whole
Mm.
neighborhood I seen, kids are walking around. So I ran up to the local 7-Eleven really quick and bought a bunch of candy, which was a mistake because 7-Eleven charges you double. So I ended up spending like
Yeah.
$50 in candy, but so ever since we've been, I guess new people must be moving in around here, I guess. And when you guys were kids, let me ask you, because when you got older, when your mom and dad didn't take you and they let you go on your own, did you venture off into the expensive neighborhoods? Because I did, just to get the real big candy bar. I know it sounds kind of selfless, but selfish. But
Yeah, it's not selfless, that's for sure.
yeah,
No, there used to be this one big subdivision there in Michigan where I lived, and it was all the people who were well-to-do, and they always decorated the whole subdivision was just done. Well, you could just see the parents driving up to the subdivision entrance, dropping off the kids and driving off. And about an hour or two later, you'd see the same car come back around picking up the kids.
Yep.
oh yeah. And then I tell you what, what's going to happen tomorrow when we all go, if we all get out, if you go to a store, or anything tomorrow, as fast as Halloween is arrived tomorrow, and they might be starting it now. I don't know. You guys tell me if I'm wrong. They're going to skip past Thanksgiving, and you're going to have Christmas decorations and all the paraphernalia in the stores for sale. You
It's
watch.
already starting. It's
Has it
already
starting?
starting. Yes. It's just
Yeah.
like, can we get through Halloween first? Can we do that?
Yeah. And I guess right, exactly. And it's like, and tomorrow in Michigan, I don't know about you guys, Christmas music debuts tomorrow.
Oh,
Oh,
Come on, man. I mean, here's what I don't like about my state. Because I told you guys before, I do like the holidays. I like Christmas and all that. I do Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, and then January and February. Man, I could hibernate for those 2 months and not do anything. But so in Michigan, the music will start tomorrow. And I like Christmas music, don't get me wrong, but I'm a traditional dude. I liked when it started on Thanksgiving, the day after. That's when I like it because I do like that music. Gets you in a good mood. And on
yeah.
the 26th of December, they cut the music. And to me, I'm the guy should come on Thanksgiving and New Year's Eve or the day before. Because because to me, people are still off work from the 26th to the 30th because they're off from work. A lot of people in the manufacturing where I live. But dude,
Mhm.
Christmas is gone already. It's New Year's Eve. And then all of a sudden they start promoting for Valentine's. So
Right. Right. It's like, stop.
You
You know,
know, go ahead, Brandi.
I was gonna say, the stores don't really understand. Once you start putting Christmas stuff up before Halloween, people are gonna start buying that Christmas stuff, and they're gonna leave the Halloween stuff alone. If they just left the Halloween stuff out there, let
Yep.
it exhaust itself, and then bring something new, they might not have to have so many sales.
You know, I like the Halloween thing because, and they're nationwide as far as I know, but these spirit Halloween shops that pop up,
Y- Yeah,
absolutely love going in those. I can spend an hour or two just walking around and kind of stuff.
an hour or two. I could spend half a day.
Yeah, well, I was
That
trying not to sound too nuts, but yeah.
Yep.
Even my children as adults, I mean, we'd all walk in there and it was just like an adult playland in there. You're just trying on everything you can.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I hear you there. I hear you on that one. And
Have
I
y'all seen these new? Okay, I think everybody's seen the like, is it 12 or 14-foot skeletons they've got now?
yes, there's
I
one.
want
Okay,
one.
have you?
Yes.
Okay, I've got a neighbor that's got one of these in their yard. They added it last year, and this year they added a 10-foot demon.
Oh,
Wow.
I mean, it's got the bat wings that are all spread out and it's standing up and everything. It's right next to the skeleton. It's really cool looking.
Man. See, I always love at Christmas time at the houses where they get the music and the lights and they all,
Mm-hmm.
coincide and they do this little thing. I love it when people do it for Halloween. I think it's
Yeah,
so cool when they do that. I mean, Christmas is great, but
yeah.
Halloween is
yeah.
my favorite holiday.
I do
We
love
we've got
Halloween.
we've got a
Go-
neighborhood down here, and they do it at Christmas, not Halloween. But every street has the whole, and they've been doing this since I was a kid, and it was one of the high points of Christmas when I was a kid. And it's awesome. I got to share it with my kids, and then I get to share it with my grandkid. But they do every street is a different theme,
Mm.
and they have this one house down on a cul-de-sac. Well, it's actually well, okay, that whole cul-de-sac is done the with the Grinch, and the end house has, of course, you tune in to a radio station, and everything's got the music and everything's going. The lights are all going, with the music
Right?
that's playing through your radio. It's pretty awesome. But what I saw last year was, and I know it's Halloween. We're supposed to be talking about Christmas, but I mean, it's Halloween. We're supposed to be talking about Halloween, but we were driving by this house, and I saw this shadow, like 8 feet tall, creep along their privacy fence. I'm like, what? Wait a minute, back up. What did I just see? Because and it did it again, and it was a shadow of the Grinch
Mm.
that they hit,
Oh,
and he was creeping along the fence, and he was as tall as the fence. I think it was an 8-foot privacy fence. He was like 7 feet tall, like this. It's great.
right.
Mm.
Right.
Yes,
Hmm.
yes, CJ. This is the closest thing I had to Halloween. The orange bandana. I don't have an orange and black, so I guess Of course, my blue shirt. I probably should have put on a black shirt, but it is what it is. I want to say one more thing too about the 13-foot skeleton text. A friend of mine, well, not a friend, a neighbor about 2 blocks down has had it for several years. And when I drive by from the street, I can always stop, look at it. It's really cool. So I think I was at the Home Depot or Lowe's, and they had all of these creatures, skeletons, the demon, a witch, and they were in there, and it was the 13-foot ones. They were finally set on display, built. So I walk in and I'm looking up at these 13, 9 to 13 feet tall. Then I was just thinking to myself, I had my Sasquatch encounter from 90 feet away. Brandi, you've recently had something that you kind of
Hmm.
saw text with the dog man. And I just thought, man, what about seeing it that close? Because I was like 8 feet away in the store and how humongous that was.
Yeah.
That is, And you well know it's hard for me to process what I saw from 90 feet. Can you imagine being like 8 feet away, looking up
Yeah,
at
I
something?
Mhm.
Wow. I don't know.
And
I
I mean,
don't know.
folks, if you've had and I did this with when I was up in Tennessee with the whole what God, I never can remember his name, tallest man in the world. Um, but they've got an animatronics of him, and he's
Okay.
and you walk up, he's sitting in a rocking chair, and you walk up to the Ripley's Believe It or Not, and he stands up, he triggers it, and he stands up. And for those of you that's had an encounter, and to gauge the size of what you really saw, get about the same. If you can find one of these things, these representatives of the Halloween stuff that they've got, that's pick one that's 10 feet tall or whatever, closest to what you saw, back off the distance that you think you was from it, and it will help you gauge it how really what the height may have really been.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Because a lot of people
Mhm.
do not realize just how massive an 8-foot creature is.
Oh
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
And just say 8 foot, right? Text compared to some 8 foot is massive enough. Can you imagine 8 foot and about 4 foot wide in girth?
Yeah.
Come on. There's just
Yeah.
no
It is truly amazing. It is truly amazing. See, even in my encounter, like I had said, when I looked at it, I knew exactly just about how tall it was. I said about 6'5". My brother is 6'5". I've looked at him all my life, so
Yeah.
I knew how to
Yep.
gauge 6.5 feet, 6.5 feet tall. So when we measured it, it was right around. It was between 6'5" and 6'8" from where they measured.
Oh,
So
wow.
I knew exactly how tall it was. And it's strange how things like that stick in your mind, and you're just like, oh yeah, I know that. And but once you go through your encounter and then do like Tex said, is find something of that height and kind of gauge it, and you see how truly massive
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
really are.
Yes, indeed. Well, everybody, this is Halloween, and I had put in the advertisement that we'd be doing a little, if everybody has a spooky story or event that happened. And we have some
Mhm.
special guests that I invited, and one of them just showed up backstage. So before we get on with that, I'm going to bring up this guest. I met this guest maybe about a year ago. Very cool guy.
Calling him a
Crazy.
guest, though, that's a stretch.
Well, he's a guest. For today, he's a guest. He's a brother. He's a brother. I've worked with this guy before.
He's a baby brother.
Baby brother. I've never met him physically, but I've met him spiritually. And with that
There
being said, we bring up Donnie Cho from Donnie
Hey,
Cho
everybody.
Says Stuff.
Hey, Tex, you
Hi,
are aware
Donnie!
that I am technically older than Jason, right?
Which is
He's
another
my
baby
little
brother.
bro. Yeah, he's my little bro. They grow up so
See,
quick,
me
don't
and
they?
Rob are the old ones of the bunch.
Yeah.
So y'all are all baby this and baby that.
Yeah. 72 years young we are.
That's right.
Hey, I'm 82. Hush.
82.
Stop
We're older than you. No, you're 62.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Donnie. How you doing,
How's
buddy?
it going? So we're talking about Halloween stuff tonight?
Oh,
well,
yeah.
considering it is the
Yeah,
last day
it was
for
just a random topic
know,
we
rant.
kind of
I
kind of
say,
picked out.
it's October 31st. Why not? Some random
I do,
topics.
Rob, if I could give a shout out real quick to a couple
Yeah,
of
you
people.
can.
My youngest daughter,
Okay.
her birthday was yesterday.
Happy birthday.
So I want to say happy
Happy
birthday.
birthday.
And I love you, baby girl.
Happy birthday.
My son-in-law, her husband, his birthday's right around the corner. So happy early birthday. He's a good guy. Thank God. So I don't have to kill him. So, I did. Hey,
Happy birthday.
I did tell the guy. I took him aside when they were getting really serious, and I said, "Look, you need to know some things. I know where to hide the body, and I don't mind going back to prison."
Just saying.
Yeah, just
Casual conversation.
But
every day for us, right?
he treats my daughter very well,
Awesome.
and
Did you
he's a
intimidate
good
him
dude.
when you first met him?
Do what?
Did you
I
intimidate him when you
intimidate
first met him?
every girl, every person that has ever dated any of my daughters.
Mm-hmm.
I went out of my way to intimidate them.
Okay. So what were
So-
some of like your go-to moves or lines? I'm just kind of curious.
Well, I just said one. I may or may not have. I can neither confirm nor deny that I've used the phrase, "You hurt her, I hurt you,"
Mm.
Yeah,
and I will make sure that you die a very slow and painful death.
Mm.
I think that is the typical line.
You know, if I were
Yeah.
the guy that was dating your daughter, my response would have been, "But sir, what if she hurts me?"
That's completely, hey, that's cool.
You know
Because
what my line
You did
is?
something to, in my mind, my little girls, you did something to deserve it.
Well, see, this is my line. I just say you don't have to worry about their dad.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that would be
Thank you.
that would
I'm the
scare the
mean one.
crap out of me. Yeah, that'd be more scarier than the dad, I do believe.
Yeah. It's just like, you don't have to worry about their dad.
So, Donnie, in the spirit of Halloween, I know you've got something up your sleeve for us. I like your bright red sweatshirt.
Oh
It's
man,
coming
were we
through.
supposed to dress up tonight?
Yeah, you're supposed to wear some form of orange. See, Brandy's got orange lights. I got a bandana. Texas got a pillow.
Well, actually, I've got my Sanderson's sister shirt on.
Why orange?
I associate with the pumpkin, I guess. I don't know. Jack-o'-lantern. Oh, okay.
I always thought
got the Sanderson
Thanksgiving would be
sisters.
more of an orange day.
Yeah,
you know?
I just said that, Donnie, just for casual icebreaker for you to get started, because I know you got a fantastic, scary story.
You could have dressed up as a vampire.
I'm just saying I never seen
ready.
no orange ghosts before. That's all I'm
Donnie
saying.
does have the black hair and red lips rolling right now. He kind of looks like a vampire.
Actually, I was actually thinking about coming on tonight with no shirt on because it would have been my anti-costume.
Oh.
I don't know.
Yeah, but I was like, nah. I'll wait to do my own show where it's like no shirts rule, where every guest has to have their shirt off. The shirtless episode. That's what I'm planning.
Mhm.
Like we all have to come on, but we all have no shirts on. It's all right. We don't show anything. It's from like the collarbone up, so it's all good. But the people at home will know that we're not wearing shirts, and it'll be called the shirtless episode. It's all good. You don't have to show the goods.
Pixie Laura is wearing a Binks t-shirt.
Oh,
Now,
yay.
excuse me for being a little ignorant on that, but I don't know what that is.
Binks is the cat from the movie Hocus Pocus, or the book Hocus Pocus, whatever which way you want to go with that.
Okay, well, again, something I've never seen, so no wonder. Okay, awesome. Well, thanks.
Oh,
Pixie,
it's a
for letting us know.
classic now.
Yeah, well,
Gosh.
I guess you had to have kids.
Last year I went as Yoko Ono. That was my costume last year.
You went as Yoko Ono? I
Mhm.
can see you probably
And
did
I
a good
appeared
Yoko
on
Ono.
podcast live in front of a lot of people, dressed as
Mhm.
Yoko Ono.
I'd have liked to have seen that one.
It was pretty convincing too. This face with like long, straight black hair. If anyone can pull it off,
did you
it was
wear the
me.
glasses? Her
what?
glasses that she used to wear.
No, I went as the '60s Yoko, the one that was like screaming into the mic when Chuck Berry was playing, and he was looking all horrified. That was the Yoko I went as. Yeah.
Okay.
You remember that clip with John Lennon and Chuck Berry? And yeah. Anyway, I got a pretty cool Korean campfire ghost story. if you guys wouldn't mind listening.
Oh, let's hear it.
No, I'd like
Okay.
something totally out of the box.
It's not so out of the box. Actually, it's kind of a similar play on the classic hitchhiker ghost story, right?
Okay.
Where it's a taxi driver and he's driving down the road, late at night, down his old country road, but this time it's in Korea, and he picks up a young girl on the side of the road, dressed in all white with her long black hair over her face. He feels bad because she's in the middle of nowhere. It's late at night, and there's this girl. Lets her into his taxi. He asks her, "Where are you going? Where do you need me to take you?" She directs him to this house, right? But it's an old school Korean style house, like real old school, where they have those Asian paper doors where they have like the wooden frames, but they have like
Yes.
paper, like those Japanese doors. Korea's
Yes.
got doors like that too, right? Those old timey buildings. So she goes
Right.
into She goes into this old decrepit, old timey building with those paper doors. She runs inside, but she doesn't pay the fare. So the taxi driver chases after her. He's looking around. It's all dark except for one room. Now with the paper white doors, if you have if everything's dark and you got like a candle in the room, you could pretty much see the flame, right?
Yep.
So there was one room where there was a candle in the middle of the room. You could kind of see the flame through the paper doors. So he goes up to the door, pokes a hole in it through the paper, peeks through to see what's going on inside. Weird thing is, he sees nothing but red, just blood red, just the color red. As soon as he puts his eye up to the hole, looks back, looks at the paper door to see if it looks red. No, it still looks like a candle. Goes back to the peephole, blood red. Guy's like, this is weird. Gets back in his cab, drives back into town. He's like, forget it. He's freaked out. Goes to this like old-timey Korean eateries. They're like 24/7 diners where you just go in and get like noodles, right? At like 4 a.m, and then you get like a shot of like whatever drink. They're everywhere in Korea. Anyway, so he goes to one of those places, and then he's telling them, the people around, about this girl and following her to the house. And the weird thing about the peephole, looking in and then looking at the candle, and he didn't understand. But then all the people in the bar, they knew because they were locals to the area. And they told him the story of a girl, a ghost, who does that. The hitchhiker ghost, right? It's always the same as the classic hitchhiker ghost story, right? She died, right? He goes to the house. They say, oh, he realizes it's a ghost. But then they also say the one characteristic that everyone who's encountered her always say is that she had blood red eyes.
Oh. Yeah, no, I don't want to encounter anything with blood red eyes ever.
But you get why he was seeing the blood red through the peephole, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it was her eyes.
Yeah. It was her eyeball right up against his eye.
It is,
No, thank you. No.
Have you heard that one? Is there like an American version of that one?
No, not that I know of.
No, not that I've heard of. I don't know about Tex. Thank you, Tex, by the way. Yes, the Rangers are up 10-0.
Game 3 of the World Series.
So, Donnie, if you got another one, well, keep that in back of your head, because we've got another special guest that's joined us. Good friend of mine, good friend of the show. He has a great podcast himself, him and Jane. So everyone go check out Midwest Night Watchers. The lead man, who just retired, by the way. I'm jealous.
I know. Lucky guy.
Hi, everyone.
Happy Halloween. Happy
Halloween. Hey, is it snowing in Illinois like it was here in Michigan?
It's snowing, but it's just flurrying. Big flakes, but nothing sticking, obviously, yet.
Yeah, it's not sticking here.
Yeah, I don't have any snow yet. I'm going to check it real quick. I don't have any snow yet, but I may be too far south. So
we had some really nice days, pretty pleasant weather, and all of a sudden that cold front came through, and then they said snow. And last night we had Cindy Goodbreak popped over because she's in Illinois visiting family, and she ended up staying the night. We went out back and did some Indian drums and American native flutes out in the moonlight to see what would happen. And we got a few sounds back there and a few weird snapping and footprints, not footprints, but footsteps like they're snapping on branches. And we didn't catch anything live, but we definitely heard it while we were out there.
That's crazy. Yeah, I all the stories I hear about where you live, that is just a mecca for everything.
It's weird.
It's just everything hangs out there.
Planning her next vacation back here to Illinois to come stay with us for like 2 or 3 days.
Nice.
Well,
I hear you.
I was wondering too, Gerald, because everyone who hasn't seen the show, Midwest Night Watchers on YouTube, please subscribe if you haven't. And you've been on this show, you've been on with Tex and Brandi before, and you guys have a fascinating situation where you guys just about see something in the sky almost frequently, I'll say.
Almost every night, almost every time we go out back and we start, putting out the good vibrations, say, please show us something, let us know you're there. We see something weird in the sky. I mean, we can't really say what it is for sure, but I mean, we have our feelings what it is, but we can't prove it, but we got it on film.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. I've looked at
live cameras at night. We got security cameras that we're trying to alter to show the night sky, or at least our backyard, what goes on there. And the weird thing is we spend on the Night Owl Lounge talking to chat and showing those, live footages from the security camera. And our number one view is a deer in our garden eating. It's not the orbs. It's not the things in the sky. It's 1.2 thousand watches on this deer eating our garden. That's our best video so far.
That sounds about right, Well, I disagree. I think it's some of the light activity you have in the sky there. That seems to be my favorites.
Yeah. No, I do catch a lot of it because a lot of times you're on late at night, and a lot of times I'll watch some shows where I just won't jump in chat, but sometimes the other night, maybe Gerald, I had you on the big screen because when I watched the sky, when you guys put it out, I like to just kind of watch it, and sometimes I'll fall asleep to it. Not that I'm getting bored, but it's kind of cool ambiance, right? Looking and I got to tell you, ever since your show, I look up a lot more than I used to, because a lot of people. I'll talk about me, not a lot of people. I don't look up very often, but I've started doing that this summer at night a lot, and I've yet to see anything. I can't tell the difference between a satellite and a UFO, to be honest with you, or that links with Musk, Elon, or whatever.
Right.
So
that's why we pull up. We pull up all the apps, the satellite trackers and air traffic, and we can tell the airplanes because they're always blinking and they got a steady pattern when they go across the sky. But then there's just those weird ones that just go through and they're not traveling the same speed as what we think the satellites are. They're just weird and they go different directions in the flight path. Or once in a while you'll see a plane, then you'll see something following behind it.
Yeah. Well, Donnie gave us his rendition of the Korean spooky tale. You got anything that you can share with us tonight, Gerald?
Well, I thought I would tell you a story, and I don't know, it's been a long time since I've brought it up or heard it. We heard it as kids. My brothers and sisters, obviously older, would always tell stories and try to scare the younger kids. And it's about the fall festival, or they, the fall dances they would have after harvest time in the moonlight. So I'll try my best to tell it the way I remember it. So as you all know, there's the season of the fall, and the farmers are done putting in their crops and harvesting. And usually just like tonight or this weekend, there was a full moon, associated with Halloween. So they planned their fall festival and had their dance all planned out. They'd have the festivities during the day.
What are you doing?
Are you playing with me, Tex? I'm not doing that.
I'm not doing anything. I bet I know who he is.
Oh, yeah. Our tech
Maybe
wizard.
it's the story. Maybe we're not supposed to tell this story.
Yeah, I know. Keep going.
I'm like, well, here's my hands. It's not me.
So the farmers' families in the community gather together at the community building, the barn, to have their dance and their festival and the music playing. And obviously they're all drinking and having a good time. And there's a young couple, Johnny and Mary. They've been together since they were kids, graduating, through the school, through the grades together. And everybody knew that they'd end up together one day. They were just always together. And during this fall festival, this dance, they were out on the dance floor dancing, having a good time and everything. And Mary's parents were kind of strict. And so Johnny had to have Mary home at a certain time, So they're just like every young couple that are in love, they want to spend as much time as possible together. And the time kind of slips away and they're about ready to be late. And they didn't want to get in trouble by the parents. So they hastily went out to their car and was heading out down the country roads to take Mary home. Well, as you know, during the fall, there's always freak storms. Like we just had some not too long ago that the rain and everything was just torrential. You still had the moonlight and the howling winds, and that's what happened on that night. They're heading home. Johnny's speeding, going fast, and he goes around a car on this old hairpin turn.
Right.
And believe it or not, they wrecked, trying to get Mary home. Johnny was ejected from the car and laying out there, making his last breaths. And Mary was in the car in the wreckage, and they hit a tree as they slid off the road. Whether they had a flat tire blowout or is just the weather had slid them off. And Mary had passed away before the rescue team got there, and Johnny had also perished that night. So when they ended up finding the bodies and taking them, taking care of them at the hospital and stuff, it is now said that when you go to this fall festival that you can see glimpses of Mary and Johnny dancing on the floor to the music and with the people. And if you're traveling down that road, if you just happen to be going down that old dirt road, you will see a glimpse of two young strangers on the road trying to wave you down and stop you. And as you go around the corner, you'll see a big mark in the old oak tree where the vehicle slammed in against, and Johnny will be laying off in the ditch, and people swear they hear the swerving of the car and the tires. So as you're going out this fall and during Halloween, if you travel down those old dirt roads, you just never know what you might find.
Creepy.
So that's the best rendition I have of that old story that's from around our area. Now, whether it actually really happened, I don't know. But it makes you wonder if you hit that right road, what you might find.
Yeah, it does. It kind of reminds me of a story, which I'm not going to share. I've shared it before, but we have Dead Man's Curve, where a couple people were decapitated, and their ghosts allegedly, you can see them at night. Some people swear they've seen them. A buddy of mine said he's seen it, but maybe I'll tell it later. I don't know, because we've got another person that popped in backstage. I don't know if this guy's got a creepy story or what, but he is the technical wizard behind the Porchers crew. Helped me out quite a bit. And y'all know him as a tinfoiler.
Mr. Tinfoil himself.
Mr. Tinfoil himself.
There it is.
Has just joined us. I
should have been wearing it outside a while ago.
Yeah.
Well, what is going on, ladies and gentlemen? You notice I use the word ladies in plural, right?
Oh, my.
Well, I'm glad you included yourself into that.
Yeah.
Why would I be talking about myself in the third person?
Oh, that's how you roll, man.
Oh, Lord.
Hey, all I can say is, well, never mind. I'm going to be quiet on that one. I didn't get a picture taken in a bluebonnet field, so.
Oh, here we go.
Hey, you got my picture from the other day, so you can't say nothing.
Yes, I did see your picture, your outfit.
Yes, did. Hey, I was all about the farmers only thing, okay?
So I've got a story for y'all. This is the actual story of the Goatman Bridge in Denton. Texas.
Oh, very good.
Oh, okay.
I was going to give Randy a little more love, but that's enough.
I ain't
Oh
worried
no,
about
he
that.
always likes to take my shine. So
Yeah. Well, wait. We'll see. Well, you can back clean up, Randy.
okay,
Go ahead, Tex.
I can do that.
All right. So the old Alton Bridge, it's the oldest of its kind in Denton County, and it was built in 1884. Now, legend has it that this bridge was important to Washburn's business model. The goat farmer had put up a sign to customers to help him find him. Now, when you come across the sign would say, "This way to the Goatman." The man sold goats. Now, Oscar Washburn was a successful farmer building a life for himself in Denton, but he was also a black man, something that caught the attention of the wrong white folks in the town. They couldn't believe the audacity of this African American entrepreneur to be hanging his pseudonym right up on the bridge. And that's what prompted them to engage in the killing to make an example of it. It is said that one night the local chapter of the KKK marched out to Washburn's home, kidnapped him, and lynched him over the side of Old Alton Bridge. But when the Klan members made their way down to the creek under the bridge to take a look at their work, his body was gone. And now the lore says that as revenge, Washburn haunts the Old Alton Bridge as a half goat, half man creature, kidnapping those foolish enough to summon him with 3 knocks on the bridge's frame. So there you go.
Oh,
That's creepy.
I'm just thinking about like, you know.
That is the story of the Goatman Bridge that y'all hear about so much in Denton. So,
Yeah, and there's supposed to be a demonic entity and blah blah blah, and yeah.
That
Now-
thing has had so much lore about it. There could be it was said to be any one of 100 things so far, though.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But
You
there
know,
is a
I
lot
mean,
of
there's-
paranormal stuff, paranormal
Yeah.
activity that does happen around that bridge.
Yep.
What the paranormal, Amy and Laney have been down there a few times, and they actually had something thrown at them, a big log, I believe, or post, when they were down there. Some people say that there is a goat man down there, and
Yeah.
some people that say that it is his ghost, that haunts that area.
I know a lot of people listening might think Goatman, but these cryptids exist. I think even didn't Jason write about a Goatman, that same story in his book?
Yep.
Yeah, he writes about it quite a bit, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not quite Dogman, not quite Bigfoot, something in between,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
wow.
Well, it's like
Yeah.
the Goatman, the Goatman of Lake Worth, Lake Worth
Yeah.
Goatman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
What makes that so important, I think, is because that's the biggest sighting of any cryptid that I've ever known, that I know about. There was, dozens of people, including cops, that witnessed that at one time, at the same
Yeah,
time.
that's for around this area, definitely.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because there was a bunch of kids down there at Lake Worth and they were partying. Cops came to bust it up, and this creature stepped out of the tree line and picked up a tire with a wheel and chunked it a couple of 100 feet.
Wow.
Hollered at them and ran back into the trees.
Wow. Yeah, that's creepy. We've had 2 creepy stories, now a third.
Well, I'll go with one.
We've got
It's-
Brandi. We've got 7 minutes before 5-minute break.
well, I don't think I can tell it in 7 minutes.
I can do mine in 7, and then you can lead
Okay,
off.
I can name that tune in.
Yeah.
Sorry, wrong place.
I have told this a couple times, just because the Texas story about the bridge, Midwest about the road. I've told this before, but there's a lot of new people here, so they probably haven't heard. It's about Dead Man's Bridge, Dead Man's Curve, where I live. Right.
Yeah.
Growing up as teenagers back in 1960s, a young couple was driving down this avenue where I live, about 3 miles from me, speeding very fast, and a curve took a sharp 90-degree. Now, in back of this curve, though, there's a creek. There's the woods, and there's a bridge, and the creek, and beneath the bridge, there's, like, of course, the underpass. Okay. So they're speeding around this bridge. Now, this is the story from the 60s again. And this kid was going so fast that he literally didn't even see the 90. He just went straight. He was driving a convertible. The car goes airborne, and it goes towards the creek, and it goes right down. And he flew out of the car, was instantly killed. His girlfriend, which they say it's hard to believe she was still in the vehicle, because back in the 60s, you didn't wear seatbelts, but her head hit the bottom of the overpass by the bridge, and it was decapitated. So legend goes, story goes, that was infamously called Dead Man's Bridge, and people could see the ghost of this woman that was decapitated up and down the trail, because there's also a trail that runs around there. And you would get reports. And it was even made the paper in the 70s. Man allegedly sees woman, the ghost of Dead Man's Curve, Dead Man's Bridge. It had quite a few different names. So me and my friends, and this is the same creek area, you guys, where I saw the stick figure. People have heard that story before too. But me as kids in high school, we would go down there and have fires and camp out, and we would always try to look for this ghost and other weird things. It was a strange area for sure, but we never seen a ghost of this alleged apparition of the headless woman. So, and we would go there. That was our hangout for many years. Then I remember distinctly, we were in high school, me, Brian, and Darren. Okay, my buddies in high school were down, and it was night, and we would go down there and drink a couple beers, and smoke a couple cigarettes, and hid from our parents, like all. Well, not all kids. I did it. And so we're hanging out, and we're looking down this trail, and there's sure enough, there's this glow. There's this glow on the trail, everybody, and it's far away, and it's coming towards us. But we're thinking it's a spotlight. It's something extra, or just a spotlight. We don't know what it is, but we're looking, and it's getting closer and closer. And the three of us guys kind of look at each other, because now it's maybe 20, 30 yards away, and it's an apparition of a female. Okay. It's a female. She was draped in like a long gown, and you could see her head. You could apparently see hair coming down. And as everyone knows, I've seen many ghosts in my life prior to this. Okay. But we're fixated staring at this. We all got the chills. It's getting closer. And then the head, you guys, it just kind of evaporates. So now all it is this apparition of a female. Now we don't know what it is, because the head's gone, and it's getting closer and closer. The three of us look at each other, and we all ran to our houses without looking back. I ran straight to my house, 5 minutes away from this area, 10 minutes away at the time, sped home. Brian and Darren sped home. Back in the day, no cell phones. We didn't even call each other. We hooked up and went back to my buddy Darren's house the next day. And we went up in the garage, and I went over there with pad of some drawing paper and some pencils, some crayons or whatever. And I said, "You guys remember that, whatever we saw last night? Wow, is that really the ghost, the dead man?" We're like, "Well, yeah, I don't know what that was." So I said, "Hey, let's all draw what we saw, right?" So I got to tell everybody. So we all sat down. We spent a lot of time. We drew up. It's good. We're not good artists, but we did the best we could. We came up with what we thought we saw, right? And I got to tell you guys, we compared our pictures, and we were all pretty darn accurate as to what we saw. Because you know how sometimes one person sees something, another person sees something else. I mean, it's always different. Our pictures pretty much lined up. And yeah, so I witnessed this ghost, the Dead Man's Bridge ghost, and that's one I'll never quite forget. I told my mom and dad about it, and of course I told my mom and dad about seeing ghosts when I was 5 or 6 on the wall. as you've heard that story before, and they're like, yeah, Rob, you're seeing ghost. Hey, Rob, you saw a ghost when you're 6. Now you're 17 and you saw one. Oh, whatever, Mom, Dad. Okay, see you later. I'm going back to the creek to check it out during daytime. But yeah, that was a pretty creepy ghost story. With that being said, I knew I could get it done in that time slot. We'll come back with Brandi. I want to thank everybody so far for coming on in. Halloween, 50 people in chat. That's great with all the shows out. I do appreciate that. Thank you very much. Coming up on the 5, we got Donnie Cho, Midwest. We got Randy. I know Randy's got something to say, but we're going to kick it off.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I know.
Oh, hey, before I forget about it, did Brandi talk about her EVP yet?
Well, she's going to be the next one up at the 5 minutes.
Are you talking about your EVP?
No, that's actually not what I was going to talk about, but we can. I don't have those recordings.
Well,
you have the recordings though, don't you, Randy?
I sent them to you. I can send you.
Well, I mean, we have them on the blonde side. We don't have them on this side.
I can try and upload them to this, see if we can get them up there for you.
Yeah, see what we can do with that, and Brandi will kick off whatever story she's got, and then again, thanks for everybody for coming on in. And I just gotta, for some reason here.
Oh, you still got 20 seconds. Don't worry about it. Keep rolling.
Yeah, I know, but I added something else to this. Here we go.
Okay,
so,
your countdown's going on now.
The countdown begins. I got 9 seconds.
How many seconds before you started did you let it go with blank air, though?
No, I didn't start it. I'm going to start it right now. Wait a minute. Maybe I'm not. We'll be back in 5.
Four minutes to go, folks. 4 minutes. Three minutes. We're almost there. Two-minute warning, guys. 2-minute warning. 1 minute. 1 minute.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for coming on into Beyond BMR, his special holiday show, the Halloween show, if you will. Thank you to Donnie Cho, Midwest, Randy, and of course, Brandi taking some time out, joining me in text for tonight's show. I do want to thank ND Southpaw and Mike A for becoming new members. They joined, they're now officially BMR Pirates. You too can become a pirate if you like to join. The link is somewhere on your device. I also want to thank Maggie and Tex for their awesome super chats. And don't forget that Texas Front Porch is on Mondays at 9 o'clock in the East. Tuesdays is Beyond BMR. I come on at 9 in the East. Wednesdays, Danielle Diva Dimensions on Texas Front Porch. She comes on at 9 in the East. Thursday, Brunch with Bigfoot, Michigan Rob, and Krista. We come on at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The Blondes, the Booze, the Paranormal Podcast. Please subscribe. They're on Thursdays at 9 in the East. If you need a little more woo with the booze, you got them Friday nights as well at 9 in the East. Fantastic show. Go check them out. Saturday, Infamous Minds, True Crime, Tex, and Miss Diva, 3 o'clock in the special shout out to Midwest. He's got a fantastic show. Check him out. Check out Donnie Cho Says Stuff. He does say stuff on that show. It's a great show. Go check him out as well. Thank you to everybody. And I'm going to bring up, hey, the girl and her gong. Thank you ever so much for that super chat. Love you, girl. I knew we're a member or subscriber, I should say, to the show. So with that being said, I'm going to bring up the rest of everybody. Start with Tex. I'll go with Brandi. I'll go with Donnie. Midwest jumped off. Thanks, Midwest, for coming on in. I do appreciate that, bro. And there's, of course, Randy.
Randy.
I love Randy. Randy took me on a tour, and I always tell the story. He took me to Buc-ee's. I got to tell you, I love me some Buc-ee's. I got to make sure we visit that again, Randy, next time you happen to pick me up at the Dallas airport.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, yeah.
It must have been somebody else that got you on that one.
Well, next time you fly in, Rob, we need to fly you in like Donnie did.
You didn't send him to Love Field, did you?
He sent himself to Love Field, and Jason thought he was at DFW.
It was 50% Jason's fault. Even he admits it. Well, 49%. It was 51% my fault, but it was 49% Jason's fault.
Real quick, I'm going to update everybody. I'm getting a lot of questions and stuff, and a lot of people don't know what's going on. I had gastric sleeve surgery Thursday. I'm doing very well. Some of you saw the show last night. I had to bug out and go to the ER, get some tests run. I was having some lower leg pain. A lot of you know I did have a blood clot a few years ago. So I just needed to go get it cleared and rule it out. They did a CT of my belly. They did an ultrasound of both legs, blood work, urine work. Everything is great. So I'm doing fantastic. I feel great. I've not been nauseated at all. It's unbelievable. My surgeon is fantastic. I have my first follow-up with him tomorrow. And so far I'm down almost 40 pounds.
Already? Damn. Whoa.
That's amazing, Tex. And it is.
So, yeah, it's and I feel great. I really do. I got a little bit of pain going on, but I mean, it's the incisions. I've got the equivalent of 5 stab wounds. I showed Rob earlier.
Yeah, he did.
And just so everybody in chat knows, 40 pounds off of him is him clipping his toenails. Okay.
That's true. That's true.
That's why we brought Randy on with the inside scoop.
Well, got to make sure everybody knows what's going on here.
But if everything goes to track, Lily Pond just
Thank
awesome.
you, Lily.
If everything tracks, I should be back on solid food just in time for Thanksgiving.
And you won't want to eat a thing of it. Trust me.
Yeah,
yeah.
You know what actually would be a scary thought now that I think about it? The idea of skinny Tex, like slim Tex, and then he's all of a sudden like, I'm beautiful again, and now he's wearing all these flashy suits. And he's like getting all groomed and everything, and he's like, and it lets it go to his head, and he just like goes, he's like, I'm beautiful again. Like looking in the mirror every day.
I know he's going to start wearing some alligator skin boots.
He's going to start doing selfies all the time. It's going to be nonstop
Clarification
selfies.
again. Tex was never good looking. Okay.
That's why I have the beard and the hat and the glasses. The more of my face I cover up, the better off I am.
And Lily, now we've got another Bandana wearing pirate. I got some BMR pirate women.
Awesome.
I got me some pirate women. All right. Very nice. Thank you, girls.
Yes.
Lord
you know, next thing you know, everybody's going, arg.
Arr. I gotta start
We're
incorporating
gonna have to
that
have pirate
now.
night.
Maggie says she always wanted to be a pirate. Haha. Well, you're a pirate, officially a pirate now. Thanks to Maggie.
Yes.
Thanks, Billy. Thanks to everybody. That's really awesome of y'all. So we have a pretty great show coming. We have some great stories. Thanks to again Gerald from Midwest. He had a bail. That's fine. It's Halloween. I get it. And so we were just finishing up. Donnie, great story. Tex, great story. Of course, Gerald had a great story. Now, Brandi has something new that we haven't heard about. And Randy also, later on the show, we'll do that audio, Randy. I still haven't found it. You said you got it set up.
Yeah, I just uploaded it under your brand.
Okay, we'll do it towards a little later. But Brandi, you got me really waiting for this now. I'm really intrigued about what this little story is that you got for us here this evening.
Well, I came about this story and it was kind of odd. I was talking to a current police officer. I'm not going to mention where he works or what his name is or anything, but, and he had a Bigfoot experience. So, we were talking about his experience and how that all happened. And he was describing it to me. And then, I said, have you had anything else weird happen? Like when you're out on a call or anything like that? And he goes, matter of fact, I have. And so I kind of just sat back in my chair and I said, oh, really? I said, tell me about it. And he said he was out on patrol one night and it was just him in the patrol car. And he had got a call about a 1-car accident out on a county road. So I'm like, okay. I said, that's freaky enough being out on a county road because, late at night, there's usually nobody else out there. And it's kind of spooky being out there. And then you're going out to an accident. So he said when he got out there that he was the first on scene and he had noticed that there was flames coming from the engine compartment there. And he was seeing the smoke and everything. So it was down into a little, well, I would say a big ditch. You have to go down in a hill towards this ditch where it had hit some trees. And so he ran down this hill and he could see that somebody was in the car. So he is trying to get this person out of this car and he's frantically pulling on it. And at the whole time, these flames are getting larger and larger. So what he had done is he ran back up to his car and he grabbed out, I think he said a crowbar or something that he had in his trunk. And he was going to go down there and try to pry the door open because it was the only door he could get to. So he was going to try and pry it open. So he ran back down the hill and started prying on the door. And he said the flames were just getting bigger and bigger. He could see that they were inside the car now, and that this person was actually burning alive. He said he knew what the person looked like. He could see him. He could see the terror in their face. It was like he said he could hear the screams of this person as this person was actually being overcome by the flames in the car. In the meantime, another patrol car pulled up while he's trying to pry this car open to get the person out of the car. And the flames just got too much, and he was afraid the car was going to explode. So he kind of backed up from it, and he's just watching this person. And I can't even imagine. It's got to be devastating, that you could not help this person. And I just can't imagine what he was feeling at the time. So as he was backing up and stuff, he just was trying to figure out, is there anything else? Finally, he's like, this thing's going to blow. I've got to back up. So he started running back up the hill, in between him and this other patrol car. And the other police officer's like, hey, we've got somebody here. So he runs up and runs around the side of the other patrol car. And the person that he had seen in the car burning alive was laying on the pavement next to the other patrol car.
Whoa. Mm.
Yeah, he was just laying there. And the guy was, covered in soot, like, he was around, a flame and all of that. And he was a little blackened, but he wasn't burnt or anything. He just had smoke inhalation, and that was it.
Oh.
Yep. Isn't that something?
Yeah.
He said the man was fine. The man was fine. I couldn't imagine that, sitting there and trying to open that car door and trying to get a person out while it's burning and watching them. And they're helpless, and there's nothing you can do to get them out of that car.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe it was like a timeline split.
Yeah,
It
that's kind of
could
what
have
it
been.
sounds like, almost, actually.
Yeah.
Right. And and I thought about that. I'm like, what if he was looking at an alternate
Yeah, almost an alternate universe type thing.
continuum,
Yeah.
like something like, this is what could have happened, but this is what really happened. It's just like he fell into that. I don't know, and the way he told me the story, and just the way he looked when he told it. I knew right then. I'm like, yo, this really
He
happened
believes
to
what he
you.
saw. Yeah, he believes what
Yes.
he saw, right?
Yes.
He found the glitch in the matrix.
Yes. It's a possibility.
Yeah.
I mean, that story has stuck with me. It has never left me, because I couldn't imagine that. I couldn't.
No.
Yeah, that's
I know. And this is somebody, a police officer who, I don't believe he would lie to me when he told me.
No, he probably believes it too.
I just
He really
don't.
does.
Yeah. I just don't believe it at all. So I'm like, okay. So that story, is told to me, and I've never forgotten it. Mm-mm.
But we hear stories like that.
Yeah.
People seeing somebody that's dying and are trying to rescue people, and then they're either, turns out there's nobody in the house or the car that they saw, or they end up in another spot like you were talking about.
Right. Yeah.
Now here's a curveball for you. What if what he witnessed was the guy's soul burning and not him physically?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, this one was really weird when it was told to me. Now I know I know that medical personnel, especially first responders, see some very odd things.
Yep.
You know, I mean, you hear stories about first responders coming up on a person who is in need of serious medical attention. They're in, you know, they're critical and blah, blah, blah. And then they watch their soul actually come up and leave their body.
Yeah, I've
I
heard
mean,
those.
yeah, and they've seen those. So when he told me this about seeing this person in the car and then finding them later, I was just like, I've never heard that one. Just never.
Yeah, that just seems more like along the line, like you're saying, a alternate reality /
Parallel.
somehow looked across parallel universe type thing. That's what it really sounds like more than anything else.
Yeah.
Right.
So
right.
think of it like a residual haunting,
Right.
something along that line. He saw something that was held there by whatever energy in that area at that time, and it just showed him what he needed to see at that point.
Yeah.
Now, since we're kind of on the subject of Brandi here, and we know that's everybody's favorite subject, we don't kid ourselves. Us guys, we get it. Randy, don't even try.
Wait.
But
I ain't gonna do it on air.
so there was an EVP caught on y'all's show,
Mm,
and Randy did get it uploaded.
very nice.
Now, Randy, y'all may or may not know, Randy is a paranormal investigator from way back. He's been in it for a lot of years. He was fortunate enough to be able to investigate up in Gettysburg and that type of thing.
Oh, that was fun.
And there's only been two things that since me and Randy's got back in touch over the years that I know that has left Randy scratching his head and no way to explain it. And one took place when we were at the Crest.
Yeah.
And one took place, and this EVP I think is the second one.
Yeah.
And there's been a few
yeah.
that we've talked about. Yeah,
we talked about, but since we've been back together and doing this kind of stuff together, these are the two. So,
well, you know, it's not the first time though, Tex. I mean, it was me, you, and Rob, and we were doing a show. It was the three of us, and we were doing a show. And I'm talking, and I believe I'm talking about my attachment, if I'm not mistaken. I'm talking about my attachment, and then next thing you know, Tex is like, "What was that?"
Yeah.
And it was a man's voice broke right in and was speaking over top of us.
Yep.
And then was gone.
Yep.
Which I've never had that happen, ever. Especially, you know, being on StreamYard and YouTube, never had that happen.
The only other person that I know of that has creepy stuff happening while they're live like this, to this extent, was the man who was just with us a while ago.
Yeah, I wish he wouldn't have left because, yes, Tex, go ahead and tell that story. Yeah, that was.
I mean, you could go back and look at his shows.
Yeah.
There's stuff that I still don't know what this was that floated out of the wall.
Yeah.
Fluttered around a little bit, and we looked at it and looked. This happened live.
And it came out of a.
We looked at it and we can't figure out what it is.
A text, didn't that come out of a picture as well?
Wasn't it a pistol? It was a picture of a pistol, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, the woo feather. That
Yeah. And it came out, and then you watch it kind of go up, and then you'll watch it turn and come down, and then you'll see it go straight down into his head. It just went, boop, and it was gone.
Yep.
And we
creepy stuff, man.
Yeah, and that's one of the freakier things I've seen live on any show. You know what I mean? I mean, and I remember he replayed it over. Remember it was replayed over and over, and you're looking at it, and like, and I was thinking this has actually had happened. I mean, it was like it was really intense for me. I mean, it was
Yeah.
like, wow.
Yeah, because after the show, we actually cut that part out and we're going over it and over it and over it. And we're all looking at it. I mean, I think there was like 5 of us there and we're all looking at it and we're zooming in on it and looking at it. And there was no way to explain how that happened. You know, I just think that my little friends are verbal and his are visual.
Yeah. So y'all want to play that?
Yeah. Let me set it up.
The
We'll just-
EVP from your last.
Yeah. And I'll set it up. We were on Blondes and Booze, and it was Krista, and myself, and Heather Mosier from Small Town Monsters. So we were saying goodbye. We were ending up the show, and the last person to say anything was Krista, and she says bye-bye. And right after you hear her say bye-bye, then you have to listen.
So I'm going to play the raw EVP first.
Which is real. It's kind of faint. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then the one that Randy, amplified for us. So here's the raw EVP. You got headphones, put them in.
Mm-hmm.
Bye-bye. 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 Bye-bye.
Okay, now here's the enhanced version.
I didn't even need it enhanced, honestly.
No. Man, that is so crystal clear.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Without the
Bye-bye.
enhancing, and the only reason I enhanced it is so you could actually hear it without headphones, so if somebody wanted to listen to it, and it's still quite legible or quite understandable. So
yeah, it's a class A. I mean, it's a class A EVP if I've ever heard one.
Yeah,
because you're hearing two syllables and you can hear them clear as day. It's bye-bye.
Yeah.
What's so great about that is too, like I've watched some of the ghost shows, that they have on regular TV, and they did you hear that? They always say, did you hear that? Did you hear that?
Yeah.
And you can hear something, but you can't. Me personally, I don't make out what is said. The verbiage, the diction, as text likes to say, isn't full. But this is like a person was standing in the room right next to you.
Yeah, I mean, like right behind her when it said it.
Yeah, and as soon as the show ended, and then our extra started to play, I was hearing things, and I mean I heard it right here. It was like right here with me when it was said. But that doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean that it couldn't come from somewhere else or whatever. And Heather had said that she has little things going on in her house and blah, blah, blah. And I said to her, well, I hope it's yours and not mine, because that would be a new one for me.
Yeah.
I don't need any more.
I fully believe that as a child.
Yeah. I fully believe it too.
I think so too.
Mm-hmm.
It's just got that sound of a little girl. It's got the sound of a little girl.
Yeah.
Yep. And Brandi, I did want to ask too, whose house? Well, that was on your guys' show, right?
Yes. Yes.
So, and of course, you were up, Brandi. You're Brandi. Brandi and Krista, you guys were up on the show.
Yeah, and Heather was up.
And Heather. So, I'm just kind of wonder where the origin came from. I mean, was it from something from your house, Krista's?
Well, that's what I said. Before even Randy came across this EVP, I told them as soon as the extra ended, I said, hey, you guys, I was hearing something and it sounded like it was right here with me.
Yeah, but it could have come through the speakers at you too,
Yes. And that's what I was saying. Because that was one thing I was trying to explain. I'm like, we use spirit boxes and radio waves and all these other things to communicate, right? Why couldn't they use your telephone? Why couldn't they? I mean, you hear of stories where people get what I call ghost phone calls. They get phone calls from a number from, a past relative or whatever. They're getting, things that are said or whatever. They can use those. So, I mean, why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
I mean,
So that's why I was said,
any one of you guys.
I'm hoping it was Heather. Sorry, Heather. I love you. I do. I love you, Heather.
Quit sucking up.
I'm just hoping it wasn't mine, because I've got enough. I don't need to add another.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is I'm in my bedroom now. My office is right off my bedroom, and I'm in my bedroom 2 nights ago. 2 nights ago, and I'm going to bed, and I'm just watching YouTube and trying to catch up on other people's podcasts that I watch. And it sounded like somebody picked up an empty soda can. They picked up an empty soda can and set it down on my desk in the office. So I come in here and I'm looking around thinking, okay, do I have an empty soda can was my first thing, because I don't remember there being an empty soda can. So I'm looking all over the place and looking. I have no soda cans in here because I've been known to leave one or two because, I like a soda or two when I'm doing a show. And there was no soda can. And then I couldn't find anything on my desk that would make that sound. Not one thing on my desk. Not one. So, that was kind of weird. But, there's always the knocking going on in my house. And it's like when I'm in my office and I'm doing shows and things, I'm hearing sounds coming from the bedroom. It's kind of like it doesn't want to be right next to me, but it'll go out there, it'll make noises. And then as soon as I go out there for the night, well, then it comes back in the office and starts making noises in here. So I'm just like, that's just one sound that I couldn't duplicate. I don't know where it came from. So
Well,
I couldn't debunk it.
I just want you to realize that every man that's sitting here right now bit his tongue out of respect for you, Brandi, when you made the remark about sounds coming from your bedroom.
Yes. I'm glad I wasn't the only one that did it.
Okay,
You're
well, let's
articulating what I
listen.
was thinking. But wait a
Let me
second.
just clarify.
Time out, though. She does like cops, as she was just
Let me
talking
just
about.
clarify.
So,
Because everyone on this panel knows I am so single, like super, super, I don't even date kind of single. That's how single I am. So there won't be any strange
we were trying
noises.
to set her up.
Don't let them talk about me like that, everyone. Don't let them do it.
Now,
who y'all gonna believe, us or her?
I want because Brandi and Randy were both there, and I've told the story, but I want y'all to tell the story about the can of cleaning stuff.
Oh yeah, the spray can.
That was so weird.
That's one. Once again, you can't explain it. You literally cannot explain it.
The only one,
and we got it on video. We've got it on video.
Yeah,
this is
it wasn't there.
The only one that could have moved that can was me.
Yeah,
right.
And it was at the top of the stair. And folks, my knee, I am not quite going upstairs.
No,
or
we would have
downstairs.
known you were
I
there.
have to do them one leg at a time. Hold on to the rail. I mean, it's not a pretty sight, folks. It's really not. But and it's going to be that way till I get my knee fixed. But, yeah. So I just want y'all to know this was not. I swear, this was not me. I did not do this. Okay, but now y'all go ahead.
Yes,
Randy, I'll let you tell this story.
Okay, let's see if I can remember back this far now because I've slept since then. But as we were going downstairs, if I remember right. We were going downstairs to the basement part, right? And when we start going down the stairs, Tex was were we going down the stairs? Tex was already down there, and he went up after we went down, if I'm not mistaken. Right?
No, we were.
Y'all were done.
Okay, we were already downstairs.
Okay.
And Tex was coming down, and we were going to set him up for
for his alone stuff. That's right. Okay.
yes, we were going to set him down there by himself.
Yep.
And we set up the recorders and all of that stuff. And
Yeah.
then that's when we were heading back upstairs.
That's right. And because once he come down, we heard him coming down. There's no doubt when Tex comes down the stairs, we know what's going on. And none of us, the spray can was another flight up, if I'm not mistaken, another length of stairs up. And it was with the cleaning equipment somewhere on the landing of that first floor. And it's a two flight.
Okay. Now, see, I thought this is where I may have the story wrong. I thought it was down there in the basement at the bottom of the stairs is where it started.
No, it was up in that stuff originally up there, but where it got put is almost half the way down.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because when you came down, you would have had to grab it. You would have to grab it as you walk past it, coming from that first floor going down, and then set it on the steps where it got put. Which, you could have done it, but we would have known it was you right off the bat, and you would. There's no doubt, somebody would have noticed it between then and the time you got down there. So as we're going back up, and there's this can in the middle of the stairs. We went up the first flight, and it was boom right there after we made the turn going up to that second flight, going up to that actual first floor door. And we were like, what the heck? And one of the owners was in there with us, and he's like, where'd that come from? It was up here.
Yeah.
And we were all like, how did it get from this landing 3 or 4 steps down, not just off to the side or kicked her? No, dead freaking center of the walkway.
Standing upright.
Right.
Standing upright. And there's no way Tex, I'm not trying to be mean about it, but Tex coming downstairs one leg at a time, holding on to something, is not even going to be close to getting that thing in the center of the daggum stairwell. That's just not going to happen unless he stops, turns around, and reaches 3 steps above him and puts it down. It just is not going to happen. And it doesn't make any sense to have happened because he probably didn't even know it was there when he walked past it. So, when we got there and started looking, we were like, okay. And Brandi, of course, takes pictures of it and everything as we're going through. And the owner, I don't want to use his name because I don't know if he gave us permission to use his name or not. We're sitting there looking at it. We're like, did you put it there? No. Did you put it there? No, nobody did. Nobody put it there. We were like, who put this thing here? Because the only people that were left over was Krista, and was Anita there still at the time?
Anita was there.
Yeah, everybody was upstairs.
But they were all on that first floor. Okay.
Right.
So that leaves everybody out. That was just us. We were the ones that were left.
Well, so, the part of it is that we heard Tex coming down the stairs. They're metal stairs. I don't care who you would have heard me coming down the stairs.
Exactly.
They're metal stairs. And you would have heard him pause. You would have heard him, set that can down.
Yeah, the metal can on metal stairs.
You would have heard him pause twice, but he didn't. It was just a steady. It was just a steady descent going down the stairs without any pauses. And you would have to really be super good to pick that up on your way down and then set it down, but never break your stride.
Yeah.
Right.
But and it didn't happen. And we were actually, we were live. We were live during that show. And I caught it on the live as we were coming up, and we didn't think much about it until later.
No. Yeah. So
and we had some pretty cool stuff happen while we were there. Your little cat balls going off, and even during the next day during the conference, right before the conference, your stuff was still going off in that corner.
Yeah. And I did get pinched.
Yeah. And so did Anita.
Yep.
Yeah, I did get pinched the next day standing in there, and I'm like, oh, great. I got to be in here all day. Yep. I was waiting for all the pinches all day. I was like,
I was gonna say too really quickly. I know Anita was on with you guys, right, during a show where she and on the show, and you could physically see in her face she was getting a little scared. Yeah, because and then one of you said leave her alone or something, if I recall.
Yeah, that was that night. That was that night.
Yeah.
That was that night, and it was me or Krista.
Yeah,
you know, because we get a little fussy. We start now, and you have to understand that this place has never been investigated.
No,
never. We found out a few weeks before the conference about they were having things happening and blah blah blah, and they allowed us to come in the night before and do an investigation. What was super awesome of them. It was super awesome. Because I always like going into a location that's never been investigated, because then you know what you're really dealing with.
Right.
Yep. But I mean, it was just something so weird. Why would it pick up a can and just move it?
Yeah, there was no reasoning or rhyming behind it in the first place, other than just say, "Hey, guess what?
Hey,
I'm here, boys.
I'm here." Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing.
Yeah,
I'm here.
or to trip you up. I mean, that's the only other thing that I can think of is something to trip
Some
you up.
mischievous sucker sitting there going, "Let me see if I can make these guys fall down the stairs."
Right.
Yeah.
So that led me to believe right there that, hey, you've got something going on in here, And then I had taken Greg Ogles down. It was on that Saturday. Him and I had gone down in there, and we're looking around, and I had this big flashlight that's it's bright. So and I kind of shined it up. And I'm showing it around the room, like, so this is what we're looking at. And I'm telling him all the things that happened the night before. And then he's like, hey, wait. And I said, okay. And I shined it back, and he's like, I just saw a shadow come around that corner, because there's furniture down in the basement.
Yeah.
Come around that piece of furniture at that corner there, and then go back in. He goes, he kept having me shine my flashlight all over the place so we could recreate the shadow if I had done it, with the flashlight. But we couldn't recreate it. And, as soon as he told me to stop, I didn't move any further. So, there was that kind of weird stuff, but that building was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really was.
Oh, it's so beautiful.
So
they did
cool.
such a great job refurbishing that building.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it has such a history to it, the bad thing is, which doesn't help the building at all, is directly behind the building is where they used to carry out
Execution.
the sentencing.
Yep.
Yeah, the sentencing. And it's right behind the building. Then
Wow.
I mean, can you imagine? I mean, you're talking.
And then the morgue was catty corner to that.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was off to the other side. So.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, you have all these things right there. That place didn't have a chance. It was going to be haunted. Absolutely.
Ladies and gentlemen,
and
I am about to bow out. I will have to leave you to yourselves for a while.
Randy,
I got to go. I got things I got to do.
Oh,
gotta
man.
Well, Tex, you got.
It's like he's so busy.
Here in a few minutes, I got to go pick up a kid. So.
Well, because I was going to ask you, but now I guess I can't.
What was you going to ask me?
Well, Tex made mention to everybody that you are a former paranormal investigator.
Ain't no former. You don't quit.
No.
Well,
I was just investigating with them in May.
Yeah, but
perhaps
he was with me at the bar, and we had some fun stuff happen there too.
Well, since you are your title, as a paranormal investigator, I guess we'll have to wait till next year, because I wanted to hear one of your investigations, because I've never heard anything from Randy.
I got one for you before I go, just because one of my first crews that I ever worked with, we were up in the DC area, and the gentleman was just starting out. He was just pulling the crew together. He tried to say they were a division of taps or whatever, but we were both like, nah, we just use that to see if we could get somebody that wasn't, just a fanboy type thing. So, and I meet the guy, and he's all clandestine type. He's got he's going cloak and dagger, but all right, cool, no biggie. He's not completely nuts, but we'll see what we got. He had a friend that lived in a house in the Accotink Bay area of outside of DC in Northern Virginia. And they had the place that we went to, the gentleman had gone off into the woods at one of the parks and committed suicide. His mother kind of kept everything the guy died in and kept it in the house there with her where she was at. And she boxed it up and she kept it all where she could get to it whenever she wanted to. This is how this woman kind of thought. She wanted this guy, did not want her son to go, and she was doing everything she can to keep him around. Well, first iteration, we go in, we just do nothing but sit up in the upstairs. We kind of just do, we get a couple of EVPs. We don't think too much about it. The second one, we deal with the basement where most of the activity had been. And it was one, I don't deal with orbs at all. I'm the guy that will look at you. Oh, I got an orb here. I got an orb there. No, you got a piece of dust. No, you got a bug. No, you got this. And I'll tell them straight out. You have to have something really, really convincing for me to say an orb is real. Okay. I saw the only orb in my life that time. It was completely luminescent of its own. It had its own light, and it behaved not even like a bug. It literally floated to a certain point, went one way, went another way. And this was at the same time as I was having the experience of my life. I'm going down this hallway. There is a closet. The closet is painted shut. Anybody that's ever seen those old spring latches that close closet stuff?
Mhm.
It'd been painted over so many times. We could not open this closet when we were checking it out before we started. We could not open the closet at all. And I'm walking with my tri-field meter, and I'm taking readings up and down the hallway. At the same time, he catches that orb on his camera, and it's an big old brick night vision camera at that time. You know, we're talking 2004, 2005 time frame. So it's this big, and he catches it as I'm walking up and down this hallway. He's over here. Go back to the water heater area. I come back. I feel like I walked through a spider web. Like, okay, well, that's weird. I turn around.
I know that
and
feeling.
I walk back, and I walked right into that door that had come open behind me. Those latches were open.
Oh,
That door was open.
Wow.
And I walked right into that door and looked in, and there is the daggum clothes this gentleman had died in a box right there. And I'm like, not only can I not explain that, I can't fathom it, because I could not, me and the guy, we would have had to take tools to break those latches loose. That's how many times they had been painted over. So,
Man.
yeah. That one right there was probably the biggest one I'd ever had. That kind of, I can't explain anything of that at all, because it wasn't.
Wait, and then you saw the orb?
No, the orb
after
happened
that?
on the same side, on the other side of the stairwell from where I was walking behind. At the
before.
exact same time.
Yo, Randy, you said this place is in the DC area?
Yeah, it's the Accotink Bay area.
I'm in the DC area. You're gonna have to tell me where this place is.
You know where Accotink Bay is, right?
I'm pretty sure
it's a wildlife area in the Alexandria area.
Okay, but this was a house?
Yeah, this was a house just outside of that. But where
I think it's time for Donnie Cho to go practice some psychic kung fu.
I don't know if the people are still there now. I know my crew that was there, they're not there anymore. So they're in different areas now, so everybody's kind of split it off. I mean, we did Oatlands Plantation, we did a lot of areas up there, and a lot of stuff.
Wow.
You know, people were saying, "Oh, well, this is haunted." No, what's haunted is the Ford pickup truck bed full of beer cans is what is haunted here. Okay, that's where most of your haunting's coming from, and that was a lot of the cases as that. But this one is literally was the only one I could not ever. There was no way to debunk it at all. We went up. I closed that thing back up, and my buddy, he went up there and he's stomping upstairs, trying to see if we can do anything to make this daggum thing do it. Because as I go back to my little camera I had back by the water heater, it's got these 2 little bitty night visions and stuff. I leave it set up recording while I'm walking around. You can actually hear where it clicks open.
Oh,
Mm.
wow.
You hear
That's a
where
good
that thing
catch.
clicked open. And I was like, yeah, I think we need to think this one over some more. So, but that's the only one I've ever, outside of that, most everything I've ever done, I can debunk the 99.9% of it easily, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I'm not endeared to a lot of people, because I don't go in just blindly saying, oh, woo, oh, woo, oh, woo. And
Mm-hmm.
it makes people mad. It really does, especially on the Bigfoot side. If I don't go, good God, I got cussed out for not believing in the woo on Bigfoot a couple times. Woo. But
Yeah.
it is what it is. So,
Hmm.
so
Yeah,
I've
'cause,
got a
you know,
few
I mean,
experiences like that.
yeah, Randy and I fight really like brother and sister, and I mean, like, yeah,
We
like
don't
brother
fight.
and
She just
sister.
doesn't listen.
Anyway, but I investigate with him. I investigated with him,
I
and
mean, I've seen it myself. I've
we
seen
did
you guys
good.
like quietly flip each other off from across
What
the
are you talking
room,
about
and I'm just like
quietly?
looking
There's
at
no
you guys. I'm
quietly
like, what the
about it.
heck? Or like we'll be out at like getting burgers. I'll just see Brandi and I'll look at Brandi over there, and they're just like flipping each other off. Like they're just like looking at each other, just like this.
I don't know what you're talking about. I never saw anything like that.
Never.
Nope.
No, but
Nick.
I mean, when we investigate, there's definitely a purpose. We go into investigative mode, and it's not to, because a lot of the things that was going on in the place that he took us to, we were debunking. I mean, it was a whole lot of that, but there were some things I couldn't explain it.
Yeah.
Just couldn't.
Yeah. Kind of like the ghost box y'all had back down the hallway. Remember when
Right.
the drunk came behind us? We're sitting
Yes.
there, and Tex knows the lady named Fluffy. He knew her at
Right.
one time. And
Right.
this dude comes behind us, and I'm gonna censor myself a little bit here with it, but this dude walks behind and out of the blue, because this lady watched the Cowboys games religiously. We're not talking about a little bit. She was fanatical, is how bad she was. We had
Mhm.
certain chair at a certain place with a certain
Mhm.
ashtray, with a certain beer, with a certain koozie. And that's the way she
Yep.
did it every single week. Right.
Mhm.
So as we believe she was down the hallway around the bathroom areas and stuff. And we're actually getting some responses on the ghost box.
Mhm.
And I'm telling what was the lady's name that was holding that day? God, I'm sorry, I can't remember her name.
Was it Holly or?
Yeah, it was Holly.
Oh, was it Holly? Okay, she was holding it, and she's
Mhm.
sitting there. She's like, "Who's Fluffy?" And I said, "Look behind your head," and that's because Fluffy's plaque where Fluffy I did up for her was behind her head. So she's
Yeah.
like, "Oh, okay." I said, "That kind of even sounds like her when we're listening to it." Well, this was when this
Mhm.
dude comes by. Hey, Fluffy, can I sit in your chair at the next Cowboy game? During the next Cowboy game, without missing a beat, without any words, loud and clear. F no.
Wow.
Yeah.
In
And
her voice.
Yeah, from the spirit box. Yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't the normal spirit, but it
Hey,
was her
Wendy.
voice. Huh?
Mhm. It was a Phasma box is what we were using.
Yeah.
And
It
for it to
was no
say
effect. Yeah. F no. Not just a little bit.
Yep.
We were like, there's your answer. Get the heck out of here.
Yeah, go on and move. Go. Just go,
Yeah. Get away from us.
And we were noticing shadows, and we were having alarms going off and all kinds of things that we checked for,
Yeah.
any type of EMF before we even started
Mhm.
in certain areas, and we couldn't explain that either.
Yep.
Hey, Randy, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
You've in all of your investigations, what are your thoughts on doing investigations with like psychic mediums and stuff?
I use them as a tool, honestly. Reason being, I may not believe so much in psychic as somebody like the dude from Most Haunted at Decor or whatever. That was his name, Decor. I get possessed, or I talk to my spirit guide Sam, or I spoke to. Nah, you can leave that crap. But if you get an antsy feeling about a certain area, then I'm gonna start listening to you. I mean, I want to know
Mhm.
where I need to concentrate at. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I'm all about because I'm all about doing investigations with psychic mediums, but only if they're female and if
Legit.
they're hot. Because if
Well,
like
that's what I
I
had at
don't
the bar
trust
too.
dude psychics as much for some reason. It's just there's something about like dude psychics. I don't know. I
Well,
trust
you know,
like
you
hot
could
female
always
psychics.
go get Long
better.
Island Medium and have her do it for you.
You know what I mean? Like if you ever see like a dude, especially if he's got like a ponytail and then he's like, yeah, I'm a psychic medium. I'm just like, I'd rather not, you know?
There's a few of them out there like that. Now that I think about it. But no, honestly,
Well,
that's
I think women are more. I think women are more intuitive anyway.
I think so.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah, I
Most-
think
most
so,
of the
too.
Sensitives are women. Yeah,
Yeah.
they really are.
Yeah, there's a few men. There's a few men out there that
Yeah.
that I will say hands down. You know, there's one guy that was on our show. His name is Michael Christopher. Love him to death, and he started talking about something very personal. You know, for me.
Oh,
And when he started describing these things, I'm on air.
Yeah.
And I said, "Excuse me, what did you say?" And as he was saying it again, the tears started coming down my eyes. I started crying. I'm live on YouTube, just bawling. So there are a few men that I know of that I do trust 100%. But yes, Donnie, when you're saying, just short of,
I mean, have you
having
ever
the
wondered
crystal
like
ball.
why have we none of us ever seen a psychic that just looks like Joe the plumber?
Well, there she is up
You
there.
know? Like a psychic medium. He's like, hey, I'm Joe the plumber
Joanne the
here.
plumber.
But he's
Brandy.
a psychic medium.
Brandy's the plumber.
Right there, see her? Right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
How come I
Well,
ain't never seen a
see,
psychic medium that looks like Randy?
Because they're
Right.
all daggum
And they just
nice.
show up and he's like, yeah, I'm the psychic medium. What's up? Hey.
Yeah. Well, I'll try
Right.
that.
And they're
one time,
just
see what
never like
happens.
just a dude, you know? Where did
Right.
dude, just regular
honestly,
dude psychics?
Just a regular dude. Yeah, I
yeah,
guess
just a
I
regular
You know
roll-
why?
dude.
Because if
Well,
regular
let
dude
me-
comes up and says he's psychic, he got everybody else looking at
well,
him like, you're high as a
I
kite.
do
aren't
have to say this. I do have to say this about the psychic Michael Christopher. He's a pull no punches kind of guy.
Mhm.
And his job was he was an air traffic controller.
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I got to go.
So he's
Y'all
your
have
normal
fun.
guy.
Randy.
He's
Oh,
your normal
wait.
guy. Bye, Randy.
Thanks, Randy.
Well, of
Get outta
course.
here, man.
Of course.
Well,
Y'all be good. We'll see you later.
We-
All right, bye.
Honestly,
But-
we've got one of the best, and I've never, okay, and I'm gonna make a lot of people mad here probably, but that's okay.
oh, Tex.
I don't. Well,
I was waiting for that. I was like, okay, here it comes. Here it comes.
well,
And
I
don't
don't-
forget,
I'm-
I got a story I have to tell before we end the show. But go
I'm
ahead.
just going to say that I've never put a whole lot of weight in psychic mediums.
Okay.
Okay, I never have.
Mhm. Mhm.
But Danielle has changed my mind because I've seen her pick stuff out and talk to people that there's no way in hell she knew what was going on with these people. I've seen it. I have no answer for it. She's the best one I personally know. I'll put it that way.
Right, right.
And
You know, like I
it's
said, I've
great to
met
have her as
many.
part of the team.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've met
Anyway.
many over the years. I've met many over the years, and some that are quite famous. And there's a few that I would.
Uh-oh.
And she froze.
no.
I love that look, by the way. Rob, go ahead.
Yeah.
At
No,
least
well-
she froze well.
Yeah, at least she was frozen in a good
Yes.
good photo. Good photo. I'm going to tell a story that, by the way, it's actually in my book. It's in the book that I got from a subscriber some time ago. And it's kind of fitting for Halloween because it's not really a cryptid. I don't know what this is. And for those of you, that's a good segue into this. Bigfoot Michigan Rob presents True Cryptid Encounters. You can find it on Amazon. Thanks to
Great book,
everybody.
by the way. I read it cover to cover.
Thank you, Donnie.
Excellent book.
And
The
there
link
goes
is in
Brandi.
the link is in the video, in this video. And for those of you that bought it, I do thank you. And when Amazon comes to calling for that review, I need 50 reviews. I think I got 20 reviews right now. And when you hit 50, the algorithm kicks in and Amazon will promote your book more, just like likes and comments in YouTube. So just a quick throw out there. So this is a story in the book that was sent to me, and it's again in the book, and it's about 3 women. They went camping in the Uintah Basin. Okay, it was just quite close to on the outskirts of a Skinwalker Ranch. And every year these women would travel there. And they did it up really big this time. They rented an RV and they set up their camp in this area. They broke away from the husbands. The husbands did their thing, and these 3 women, friends for many years, did this as an annual thing. Their first night that they're at camp, the night went without a hitch. They went fishing, caught some fish out of the river, had a great night, stayed up all night talking. Night 2 rolls around, and now they're all going back into the RV. They're going to bed to take, for the evening, for the night. And in the distance, they hear some howling. Now, I will tell you that the 3 women, along with the husbands, did a lot of camping together throughout the years, so they were familiar with the sounds of the forest. But these howls that they heard that night, they couldn't place it. They didn't know what they were. And then also, the howls stopped, but then they heard voices that were muffled, but they could not quite pick out what these voices were. They got out of the RV, they looked around, they didn't see anything. Then these voices, they went away. They went away. So the next morning they wake up, they're making breakfast, and they're sitting around, and they're like, wow, you guys, wasn't that a creepy night last night? Number one, we're talking about all these strange animal sounds they were unfamiliar with, and then the very faint muffled voices. They're like, yeah. So they kind of forgot about it. They went about their day. They went down to the river, went fishing again, came back to camp. Now, during this 3rd night they're sitting around the camp, and they go back to bed for the 3rd time. Now, they don't hear any howls like they did the previous night, but they heard those voices, those muffled voices, but they're closer. The embers of the fire was just starting to go out, so it put off a nice glow around the fire pit. They get out, they hear the voices closer, they open the RV door, and there they see 3 little spirits or apparitions, and they're all circling around this fire pit. Here comes Brandi, I think. So they're all circling around this fire pit, hovering outside of the embers of the fire. And they're looking at it, then all of a sudden these apparitions, those muffled voices now are very distinctly heard, and they say the words, "Mother, no. Mother, no." And these women claim to be looking at these things. They hear these voices, and they go away. All of a sudden, they kind of evaporate and go away. The next morning, they're kind of creepy, and they decide that perhaps they're going to take the RV to another location, not quit their journey or their camping expedition, but to go somewhere else, right? Well, for whatever the reason, they laughed it off once again and said, forget it, we're not going anywhere. We like this spot. This has been our spot for many years. So now the next night, again, went through their fishing, had their campfire, went to bed. Now this night, it happens again. Now they see, again, these 3 apparitions of little children, which they describe, are circling around the fire. They're saying, "Mother, no. Mother, no." They're scared now, and they go into the RV, and they're going to start up the RV, and they're going to get out of here. They're scared. They want to go. They're inside the RV. The RV is lit up. It's the battery's fully charged, and then they hear something else. They hear this scream and this roar. They reluctantly, but needing to see what's going on, they open the RV door. One of them is looking out one of the side windows. And again, around the fire pit are these three young apparitions. And in the middle of the fire, hovering above them, they said was this long humanoid figure that appeared, it was faceless with like antlers, like a moose or an antelope coming outside the head. And the young children are saying, "Mother, no, mother, no." And now Donnie said something earlier about the bleeding. Now these apparitions, it appears that they tear up. And as they're tearing up, it appeared that blood was tearing from their eyes. And they can hear them distinctly saying, "Mother, no, mother, no." And there's this big ghost apparition with antlers there. These people are freaking. All of a sudden, now they get to the RV to get the hell out of there. They get inside the RV. They go to start the RV. All of a sudden, the RV loses power. It goes dark inside the RV. They can't start it. They're there, and these things are outside. They're looking out of the window. And then, again, the children, "Mother, no, mother, no." The big, creepy apparition says, "Come to mother." And with those words, the apparition disappeared, with the children with the blood tears falling from their eyes disappeared. They regained power to the RV, and they got out of there. You can find that tale. That was the edited version, and of course, in my book. And yeah, that was creepy. I don't know what that was. I titled it Wendigo, Curse of the Wendigo, or something like that. I don't know. I know now today a Wendigo don't have antlers, you guys. I reading further into that, but that's what they kind of told me. They thought it was a Wendigo. I don't know really what that is fully. I think it is spiritual, but I think that's something that's a flesh eater. And I think they eat their kids or their family, I think. Don't quote me on that text. I don't know. You might know a little more about that. But yeah, that was a creepy story. Found the book and yeah. So
can I tell you what I thought was the creepiest story in your book, as someone who's read all of them for like cover to cover, in my opinion?
Well, first of all, I do appreciate you, Donnie. I'm waiting for that review, by the way.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I'll get on it.
Okay, yeah.
Sorry about that. I'm a procrastinator. Forgive me.
Yeah.
Southern Devil Dog. Do you remember that one?
Yeah, I can't recall. Yes,
it's the one with the priest, right?
Yes, that's a really creepy one. The priest.
Too. Okay. Yeah. I want to ask you some questions about that story. Do you want me to summarize it, or do you want to do it for the people listening? If you don't mind,
so you can summarize it, Don. You can summarize.
Okay, so this chapter is basically from the point of view of a guy who was a priest, but then quit becoming a priest. Now, the reason why he quit being a priest, he doesn't mention whatever congregation it is. Like he, just total privacy, right? He said that when he was a priest, this one couple, John and Susan, kept coming up to him, being like, "Hey, priest, hey, father, we got this dog-like looking thing showing up outside our window." And they describe it as looking like this really dark, shadowy Doberman. But this priest does not believe him at all. He just thinks, okay, whatever. He kind of brushes them off, but then they keep coming up to him and again and again. And then he's starting to think, okay, well, they're just clearly mentally ill. He's like, perhaps you should see a psychologist. He doesn't take them seriously at all. But then he recounts that as the couple keeps coming up to him, they're looking like worse for wear. Until finally he finds out the news that the husband wound up murdering the wife and then committing suicide.
Yeah.
And then it shocks the whole town. It's like, I'm gathering it's like a small town.
Yeah.
So they have a town meeting to discuss what's going on. And they ask the priest, because the thing is, everyone in the congregation knew that this couple kept coming up to him leading up to that event. So they asked him at this town meeting, like, "Hey, priest, what was going on?" Right? Like, was there anything you could have done to stop this? And then he told them what happened. But then everyone in the town was like, yeah, we saw that same dog-looking thing show up outside our window too.
Yep.
And then once the priest realized that that couple was actually like reaching out for help and he was just brushing them off, he just kind of broke down and like apologized to everybody. And I was like, yo, this is probably the most messed up Dogman story I've ever come across, like ever in my life.
And then, Donnie, do you remember? I don't know if you were going to say it at the end of the story.
Yeah.
When he's ready to split town.
Oh, that part was real messed up.
What's on the front porch, Donnie?
Okay, so he gets a knock on his door, opens, there's like a little basket with like a little covering on like over it. He opens it, it's moving. There's a newborn baby Doberman someone left. And you know what this priest does? He takes that basket, drops it off at the sheriff's office, and then leaves town.
Yeah. That's one of my favorite stories too in that book, man. Thanks.
But I'm like, dude, so tell us some stuff about that. I mean,
that's kind of all I can. I mean, my thought. I can give you my thoughts on that. That's like reminding me of a Hollywood feature. You know how you always have these creepy little towns. There's everyone's got kind of like Stephen King, right? Everyone's got a secret and they're not telling anyone. You know.
Were you able to ask the guy which town that was? Maybe that's a town worth investigating.
I don't believe I got that data from the guy. I'd have to check. I wrote this 2 years ago, so I'd have to remember. I don't think I did because if I did,
mean, Dogman was affecting the whole town.
It was in a southern town. I think it was a southern town in Mississippi.
It was in Mississippi. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I believe it was. It was an old poor town. I believe it was Mississippi.
It's worth checking out, I think. Yeah. If it's affecting the whole town like that.
Yeah. So yeah, and but the whole town knew about this. The man that murdered his wife and took his life. I mean, this guy wasn't nuts. He was seeing something. Then the town came together. It just reminded me of a Stephen King movie. What happened to this guy, this town. So thanks, Don. You said that. You did that a great summary. I couldn't have done better myself. Thank you. That's a man that read and retains his information. So thank you.
Well, it was a good book. Actually, that's probably, I'm not going to even bring up that, folks listening at home who haven't read the story. Number one, shame on you. Number two, that story that I just brought up, in my opinion, was the second most messed up story. The number one most messed up story was actually a little bit after that.
Yes. But everybody's got to buy the book now. We've done two, so everyone's got to kind of a preview. And again, but thank you, Donnie, for that. I do appreciate everybody that bought the book. Thank you so much for that. Thanks, Don. Well, guys, we've come up around 2 hours, man. Great show. Thank you, Tex, Brandi, Donnie, of course. Thank you. Thanks for Midwest. Thanks to Randy. I also got to give a quick shout out to my new, if I can pull it up here, ND Southpaw, Lily Pond, and Maggie. You're all new Porch Pirates. Thanks so much for that. I also want to
Pirates.
Yeah. Oh, I said, did I say Porch Pirates? BMR Pirates. BMR Pirates on the porch. How's that go? Porch Pirates. Porchers and BMR Pirates. There we go. Wow. See,
it's good, though.
See how much I love you. See how much I love you, Tex. You're on my mind all the time. Thank you to Maggie, the girl and her gong, Texas Front Porch for the and Mike A is also a porch. I did it again, Tex. A BMR pirate. 4 new BMR pirates and girl and a gong, Texas Front Porch. Maggie also left super chats. I love you guys and thank you so much for that. This was a fantastic show. It really was. I really enjoyed it. It's Halloween. And guess what? Tomorrow morning, we're all going to get up and start our Christmas shopping.
Really? Oh, damn. Really? Oh, yeah. It's November.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot about November.
I've already started.
Oh, no. Christmas shopping.
Yeah, Donnie. It's right around the corner. And I don't do Amazon for Christmas. I still visit the big box stores. You got to give them some love because too many have gone out of business. And that's my little pet peeve before we end. You got to give it up to the retailers, the people working inside the retail establishments, because, you know, I think that's the true spirit of helping everybody and helping these businesses.
But if you can, shop small business.
No, small business. Yes, I 100% with you on that one. Thank you, Tex. So, for Brandi, for Tex, for BMR, until next time, we're out and happy Halloween. As I'm going to pull a text here. Here we go.